These stories and more ahead right now. I'm Tamara Henry. And I'm Keena Chin. Welcome to Santa Monica Update.
Santa Monica Update, your source for local news in Santa Monica.
With us today is Peter Krietler, co-host of Earth Talk Today, the long-running environmental talk show which airs on City TV. Peter, welcome to Santa Monica Update. Now you've been doing this for how long? Before environmentality was cool?
Well, the first Earth Day was April 22nd, 1970.
1970, wow.
1970, and I was, and still am, an Episcopal priest, and I started preaching on environmental issues around that time.
Now, how did you discover that way back then, before it was hot and cool?
Well, I think if you've grown up anywhere near nature, it informs you, it teaches you, it emboldens you, it makes you happy, and to preserve that just became a part of my life. And it wasn't about the intellect, it was about the heart.
So you grew up in nature. What part of nature, what type of nature did you grow up in?
Pretty much wetlands and beaches, Cape Cod, Massachusetts. So I spent every summer there as a camper and learned how much of a teacher nature really is.
Now, what kind of things have you learned from nature firsthand?
Well, one of the things we've tried to do on the show is to bring all the different kinds of learnings that you get. For example, we know that there's no trash in nature. Everything is recycled. It comes back.
Like mulch and
absolutely,
recycling.
Absolutely. Well, that can teach us then about what we should be doing as well with recycling and doing things like that. Nature is something that we've forgotten about, but we ought to have the book of nature in one hand and then all the intellectual teachings from books of scripture or writings by environmentalists or scientists in the other hand, and we need to balance those.
Yeah, we can be so far removed from nature because we wear shoes and we walk on concrete paved sidewalk and we ride up and down elevators and we sit in buildings with Freon and our computers. And where is nature these days in our lives?
And I think we're going to see a dramatic change in our young people who are not exposed to the gifts of nature.
Right, so I think that may be an important field trip for children, is to get out into nature. Go to the mountains, go to the beach, go to the woods and the wilderness.
Right.
Yeah, because you were talking about you have some grandchildren, and what do our grandchildren and our young children have to look forward to in the future of the planet today?
Well, I'm afraid that we've left them a terrible legacy. We have been very much human-centered rather than the balance of nature in the human world. And I think that if you read the scientists today, and one of the great things about Earth Talk today is we're able to invite on pure scientists, climatologists, people who study global warming, people who study the forests, the oceans, and so forth. And every ecosystem in the world is in decline, every single one. Every single environmental issue that I began to study in the 1930s, 30 years ago, 35 years ago in 1970, is in worse shape today than it was then, except for the release of chlorofluorocarbons. We've cut back that. Everything else is in decline. Fisheries, old growth forests, rainforests. We have that on one hand, the degradation of nature on one hand, an increase in population on the other.
Right.
And we're still growing at an aggregate of about 70 million a year.
Now, all this decline, is it our fault?
Our being industrialized society, yes. We have the unintended consequences of our wonderful technology. We've increased food production, but we didn't factor in the relationship of the fertilizer to the water, so now we have aquifers that are polluted. We now have soil degradation. We have dust bowls again. And so there's always that you have to take into account. Human beings are the only person on the planet who has the control of the planet. It's in our hands.
Yeah, so if it is our fault, the decline, then we can turn this around. I mean, just as smart as we are that we created all this technology, we can use that intelligence to turn this around and flip it over and say, now we're going to do something about it to put it right, to put it back right. And Kim, is it too late to turn things around?
Yes, it is.
It's too late to turn things around.
Absolutely.
Then why should we try?
Okay, because we can slow down the rate of decay and decline.
We can slow it down.
We can slow it down. Can we turn it around? No. 20 years ago, we could have. Today, no question in my mind that we cannot stop the processes underway. We can slow them down to the point where we can mitigate the sea level rise that's already beginning. We can mitigate the problems of pollution by changing technology. We can put solar on our house. We can drive fuel-efficient cars. We can go to alternative technologies. That will slow the rate of decline. But we need today dramatic changes. No more putting the Band-Aid on the wound. We need to have sutures to tie it up. We need to have surgery. And so...
And awareness. I mean, like you said, 20 years ago, if we could have gotten the message out, we could have done so much more. And so it's so important for people to become aware and to become educated and make those choices on a daily basis.
So each of us can do something personally. That's what we're called to do. But at the same time, that's not enough. We have to look at the big picture. Limits to growth, going from short-term to long-term thinking. And today, it's all about me now and what I can grab for myself. And we are exporting that to the rest of the world. So the United States, which is a leader in a variety of ways, is also a leader in promoting me first, consumptive world. And the two biggest issues that we face today, other than climate change, which is a result of the global warming, is population, overpopulation, and overconsumption.
Right. So one of the things we might want to do to make a better world and a better planet is to think about, do we really want to have children? Maybe not having children is one way to contribute to the population problem. Is that right?
Absolutely. There are studies on the carrying capacity of the world. That means how many billions of people can live on the world. A lot of us take away one of those R's. And when you take away an R, it's the carrying capacity. Right now, we can't care for the 6.5 billion people that are on the earth. And some studies have shown we can only care really in a way that is humane for only about 2.5 billion. And yet the population is projected to go to 12 billion.
Oh my goodness, 12 billion people.
12 billion people. We can't take care of who we have now. And therefore, we have to educate. And on the show, I've often said that we're either going to educate ourselves to enlightenment or entertain ourselves to extinction.
That's right. And you know, you talked about me, and one of the things that we're probably going to learn really quickly is that I'm not just me here, but I'm part of my environment, and I'm part of Mother Earth, and Mother Earth is part of me. And so maybe that's going to help us all expand our idea of me, expand it outward to a worldly me.
We are all connected. We are all relatives. We are as much related to every aspect of the natural world as we are to each other in the human world.
Okay, now where can we catch your show? Because we all want to get more educated. It's called Earth Talk Today, and you have a website?
I have a website, www.earthtalktoday.tv.
Okay, well, we're going to all tune in and get more educated. And our guest today has been Peter Krietler, host of Earth Talk Today, which airs on Santa Monica City TV several times a week. And thanks for taking the time to talk with us, Peter. It's been fun.
Thank you, and my co-host is Alexandra Paul, and she's with me on every show.
Okay, we'll look forward to tuning in.
Pleasure.
That's it for this edition of Santa Monica Update. I'm Keena Chin.
And I'm Tamara Henry. Thanks for watching.